of the place. Did you go there and what did you see?
Yeah, yesterday I arrived there at about 5:16 p.m. there, and citizens are also able to talk to told me that yes, indeed, the soldiers are still on our side. Even the township commissioner there, I was able to interact with him. So as of yesterday, of 5:16, I left from there. The guys were there.
So the Guinean soldiers are still on our side of the border.
Yes, they are.
Now,
Yes,
how is it difficult? So it means that the Liberians...
Imagine waking up in your village and finding foreign soldiers just a few hundred meters away. Imagine hearing that your government says everything is under control, but when you look outside, the soldiers are still there. That is the reality many residents in parts of Lofa County say they are facing today. Reports from communities near Solimba, also referred to as Solumba, indicate that Guinean soldiers remain inside territory that local residents identify as Liberian land, despite assurances from both governments that the situation had been resolved. So, what is really happening along the Liberia-Guinea border? Has Guinea actually withdrawn its troops? Why are residents saying the situation remains unchanged? Why did this issue become one of Liberia's biggest political stories in recent months? And what does all of this mean for Liberia's sovereignty? Stay with us because today we're taking a deep, factual look into one of the country's most sensitive national security issues.
It is we, the government, supposed to protect. We cannot protect ourselves. And that's why you have the decision on your own.
Welcome to Everything Liberia. If you're new here, we bring you accurate reporting, balanced analysis, and important stories affecting Liberia and Liberians around the world. If you appreciate factual journalism, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications. Now let's begin. Where is this happening? The current dispute centers around communities near Solimba, also reported as Solumba, in Foya District, Lofa County. Lofa County shares a long international border with the Republic of Guinea. The Liberia-Guinea border stretches approximately 590 kilometers and has existed in its modern form since colonial-era boundary agreements, although disagreements over specific sections have occasionally occurred over the years. For generations, communities on both sides have lived, farmed, and traded across this region. Many families even have relatives living across the border. Because of these close historical ties, border disagreements can become extremely sensitive. How did this begin? Earlier this year, reports emerged that Guinean soldiers had crossed into an area claimed by Liberia. According to reports from local authorities and media, the soldiers allegedly entered the disputed area, halted construction work, and removed a Liberian flag from the location. The incident immediately sparked concern across Liberia. Many citizens viewed the reports as more than just a local dispute. Instead, they believed it raised questions about Liberia's territorial integrity and national sovereignty.
Let me be clear to every Liberian. Our pursuit of peaceful resolution is not a sign of weakness, but rather a demonstration of strength. It is easy to fight, break down, and destroy. As our own journey has taught us, it is more difficult to recover and build. That is why the government is exploring every available avenue to resolve this matter peacefully. We will continue to rely on diplomacy, dialogue, and the mechanisms of regional cooperation to ensure that this issue is addressed responsibly and without conflict.
The government's initial response, the Liberian government chose diplomacy instead of confrontation. President Joseph Boakai engaged Guinean authorities and later announced that he had received assurances from Guinea's leadership that the issue would be resolved peacefully and that Guinean troops would withdraw. The government's message was clear. Liberia wanted dialogue. Liberia wanted peace. Liberia did not want military escalation between two neighboring countries with long-standing diplomatic relations. Many Liberians welcomed that approach. Nobody wanted violence. Nobody wanted another regional conflict. Diplomatic engagement is often the preferred first step in resolving border disagreements. Reports from the ground tell a different story. However, weeks after those assurances, new reports began emerging from residents living near the affected communities. According to local accounts and multiple Liberian media reports, Guinean soldiers were reportedly still present in the disputed area. Residents claimed they continued seeing armed Guinean troops stationed near the Mekona River area and other nearby locations. Some community members also reported continued uncertainty over access to farmland and normal activities. These are claims from local residents and media reports. The governments of Liberia and Guinea have not publicly confirmed those specific allegations. That is where the controversy begins. Because while government officials indicated that diplomatic progress had been made, residents on the ground continued saying they could still see the soldiers. Why this matters? This is about much more than one village. Every independent country has internationally recognized borders. Those borders define national territory. If citizens believe foreign troops remain inside their country without a clear resolution, naturally questions arise. People begin asking, who controls the area? Who protects local residents? Has the dispute truly been resolved? Or is it simply being managed through diplomacy while the situation on the ground remains unchanged? Those are legitimate public questions. But it is also important to remember that border disputes can be extremely complicated. Different governments may interpret historical boundary markers differently. That is why international law encourages peaceful negotiation before any escalation. Liberia's history with Guinea. Liberia and Guinea have generally maintained friendly diplomatic relations over the decades. Both countries cooperate on regional security, trade, and ECOWAS initiatives. However, the border has occasionally experienced disagreements. The current dispute is not the first disagreement involving the Liberia-Guinea boundary. Historical records show that while the boundary was formally demarcated during the early 20th century and reaffirmed after Guinea's independence, disagreements over the precise alignment of some sections have surfaced from time to time. That history helps explain why both governments have emphasized dialogue instead of military action. But while diplomats were holding meetings, another controversy exploded in Monrovia. A sitting lawmaker publicly criticized the government's handling of the border crisis. His comments triggered one of the biggest political battles of the year. Eventually, Representative Yeke Koluba lost his seat. Was it simply about legislative discipline? Or had the national conversation shifted away from what was happening on the border itself?